Are you guys able to tell the founding story of the Home Gym Discord?
Yeah, I took some notes, so I wouldn't forget too many things. I'll spare you guys some of the weirder details because it's definitely been an adventure. But as far as Discord goes, anyone can make a server. Anyone can, you could make it and have just yourself in it, or you could have 10 people in it. You don't have to make it a thing where people join it. So we started out actually on the Home Gym subreddit. And Reddit is not very quick. You have to make sure you're refreshing the page to see new comments. And in the beginning of the pandemic, stock was nearly impossible. We did notice though that they Rogue restocked every day around like 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. So we're always on there refreshing around then. And at one point, someone just said we should make a Discord server. This one guy, which was literally not literally his username, it was that one guy. Impulse made, hit the plus sign, made it. We all joined it. We had like 200 people going every day, 10:30. We're logging on. And, at that point, it was very much, oh, I saw the high temp bumpers came in and you'd post the link and people would buy it if they wanted it. You'd be tagging everyone. It was just chaos. Basically, that guy stepped down and gave this other guy whose name was D'Amelio, and I'll try to limit the usernames I say because that's going to sound like Game of Thrones at a certain point. He owned the server, so there's got to be one owner who kind of keeps track of the whole thing. When that happened, we grew to 11,000 people. We had bots keeping track for us and would post automatically. You could subscribe, like I'm looking for a bar, so you had the barbell notification, that kind of thing. And it was really awesome. And then even from there, we had like weird bots who would track like PlayStations on Amazon. And at one point we were into coins from the U.S. Mint, but I'm going too far that way. But basically, we grew to 11,000 people. Everything was great. We were hosting powerlifting meets. We did charity events, this whole thing. And the guy who owned it decided to delete the whole thing. So that was, a little bit of drama there. And now we're actually rebuilding. So we're at about 2,500 people. And along the way, great people have kind of come in and out, came back. We've got a ton of, guys that you probably know, a ton of manufacturers on there. And like Kevin said earlier, it's great that you can, like, he literally talks to the owner of Rep One Strength to be like, hey, I think you should do this with your app, that sort of thing. And the guy's not just like, shut up, idiot. Like, they actually talk about it. And we have this great community now. And although we're a little bit smaller than we were, there's still tons of active users. I wake up in the morning and there's all these unread messages and I just don't read them, but don't worry about that part. And yeah, so the history is we kind of built this thing up from the pandemic. The need was to get stock and it kind of developed from there. Now that stock's not really a big issue, now we're more focused on actually, using the stuff that we bought for 2 years. And it's been a lot of fun through the whole process.
Yeah, I like the part. Me and you have very similar notes for the founding story. I liked the part where you talked about the chaos because I think it's the closest I'll ever be to having like worked on the New York Stock Exchange. This is what it was like. Every morning, people would log in about 9:30, 9:45, kind of shoot the breeze, and then 10 o'clock would hit, and everybody it would just kind of go silent for a little bit, waiting for that stock to hit. And as soon as it did, man, you'd have 100 people just start linking, and there's a feature in Discord where you can tag somebody and it sends them alert. You would get just a ton of alerts to your cell phone from somebody saying, hey, that monster bench that you wanted finally restocked, or the calibrated plates that you've been waiting months on. I think it was the 20 kilogram plates that were out of stock forever. You could get the rest of the set, but the 20 kilograms you couldn't get. So it was just absolute chaos. But it was so much fun. I feel like I've said this so many times. I sort of missed the beginning of the pandemic. I feel like my experience was very different than normal people. I loved that period of time. It was so fun kind of building it up and just watching that environment sort of explode for the first few months.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I always felt like at like 9 to 9:30, it was like, you get like the calm before the storm. Like we're all sitting around like a campfire, like just talking. And then all of a sudden that would hit and it would just go blow up. It was awesome.
That's awesome. You guys kind of branched off from the Reddit pages. Is there any beef that exists between Reddit and Discord?
Well, I mean, officially, no. The big issue is that guy D'Amelio that deleted the server when we hit 11,000 is a mod on Discord. So I wouldn't say we don't like the subreddit. We're completely fine with them. We've actually had meetings with them. We met with Tatty Waffles, which is a moderator on Discord if you don't know, on Reddit if you don't know. And then the Gray Matter Lifting, he goes by a different username on Reddit. He's a mod there too. So we actually met with them to explain, like, listen, we're not mad at you guys. You didn't do anything. It's just this one idiot who decided to blow up the place because someone called him obtuse, and now it's this whole thing. But so no, the whole Reddit, no. I mean, I'm still on it. I'm looking at the AMAs. I'm looking at posts and whatnot. But really, just one person, and it's not because he's a mod. It's because he deleted what we worked 2 years for. But that's about it. If that makes sense, I think that's justified.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. I don't know that there's beef with anybody. I will say there's been a couple of, I don't know, awkward interactions. One thing that I found particularly interesting with that situation where, the server got, we were told it was transferred, but really it was deleted. One of the things that sort of came out of that, though, the moderators on the subreddit seemed like, the Discord's sort of its own thing. We don't really care. Luckily, it was actually Joe Gray and Dr. Tatty Waffles from the subreddit that sat down with us, and we kind of talked it through. But I just found it real interesting that there wasn't more interest, I guess, in that whole situation from their perspective. Obviously for us, getting our server blown up sucked, but yeah, it was really just Joe Gray was really the only one that would kind of talk to us directly, and then the rest of them kind of said, we don't care.
Yeah, it was a little jarring that, because we cared so much about it, and then you kind of turn around. It's like leading a parade and no one's behind you, and you're like, all right, guys, let's go. You're like, wait, where did everyone just go? What happened? Yeah. That was a little weird, but it worked out in the end.
How long ago was that?
February, right?
Yep.
Yeah, end of February.
It was a wild week. That was actually the same week that the situation in Ukraine started. So, it was tough to kind of get, unglued from the computer there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was actually my February. I'm a teacher. I think that was my February break, and I spent that entire week just getting things back up and running and, nerd alert, but it's what I did.
Yep.